That is 877-626-4651. That is here at the House of Justice, and one of the House of Justice staff will also help you. If you are in need of crisis, we have a crisis team that is also here Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. and on Saturdays between 9 and 3 to assist folks that are in need of assistance, where we help you, we give you referrals, whatever you need. NAN is here to assist. So, of course, again, call the number 877-626-4651. Thank you, and now I turn it over to Attorney Smelkin.
Thank you, Christian, and thank you, everybody, for coming here this evening for our last legal night of the season. How many people here are here for the first time? Raise your hand if you're here for the first time. Okay. Thank you for showing up. We hope to see you more in the future when we continue. And for the benefit of those who hadn't been here before, let me just briefly tell you about Legal Night in general. Legal Night is a three-part program. The first part, we have a designated speaker, which will be Wiley Stecklow, and a few guest speakers this evening, speaking about a certain topic, which I'll go over with you in a moment. Afterwards, we have a question and answer part 2, where you can get up and it's your mic. You'll speak what's on your mind. If you have questions, you want to make a statement, you want to let us know how you feel about certain things, it's all yours. And then we try to leave time at the end, the third part of the program, for individuals who may have questions and you feel better speaking, with an attorney one-on-one, not in public with everybody. So we try to leave time for that as well. Legal Night could never take place really without the staff of the National Action Network, and they really deserve a heck of a round of applause for all the good work which is done in promoting this program and organizing it and just making it happen. And I thank Ashley Sharpton. I know Ashley's here this evening. We thank Goldie Harps in the back, Lisa Harps, Goldie. Brenda Dock, I don't believe she's here this evening, Brenda, but we thank her. Winston Gilchrist, our videographer over here, I've known him for many years. He's responsible for recording everything and does one heck of a job. And Brenda Ricketts, we thank her. Christina Ricciardelli, I saw her a little while ago. Thank you, Christina. Arthur Robinson, the facilities manager, the gentleman in the back. Arthur, thank you so much over the years for everything you've done. Dominique Sharpton, JT Trollinger, Sister Diane Word in the back over there. Good to see you again. And of course, Christian Matthews, who started everything here, introduced himself. Over the years, those of us that have been here for quite some time remember someone, she's not with us anymore, but she was so instrumental in the beginning that we always like to give her a round of applause and really thank her for all the work that she's done. And that was Maxine Lewis. Did so much good work in the early days. We thank her for everything. And so many people over the years doing a lot of great work over here. I can't, I'm forgetting a bunch, but so many people we thank, of course, Patrice Perry and Reverend Ron McHenry over the years also. And so many other people that I'm just forgetting to mention, but we thank you all. Over the years also, we've had individuals that went on to become judges in the courts. We have Judge Tanya Kennedy in the appellate division, has done a lot of work here, given good advice. Judge Senria Edwards in Brooklyn, we thank her, and Judge J. Mashel Sweeting in New York County, a good founder and a good value of a person who had given so much of her time and efforts here at the National Action Network before she took the bench, and Judge Kim Parker as well. We thank all the judges. The attorneys are not employees of the National Action Network. We do this because it's the right thing to do. We do this a pro bono measure, and over the years, we just have what I call an urban commitment. We want to help those who have been pushed around, who've been underrepresented, who've been discriminated against. And that's really what it's all about for us. We don't charge anything. We don't want anything. We just want to do the right thing. And the attorneys over the years that have been here, some are here tonight, but some are not. Rob Bellinson, we thank Rob, and Gary Certain, Kyle Edmonds, Jeff Emden, Ken Gilbert, Carmen Jack Giordano, Pete Gleason, who's here tonight. Pete will get up in a few moments to also introduce himself, say a few words. Michael Ross, also over here. Royce Russell, not here this evening. Myself, Joel Schmelkin. Eric Seifert is one of our counsel out in Berkeley, California. He's on Zoom. Eric, thanks a lot. I know you're listening. And of course, Wiley Stecklow, who will be presenting this evening. And of course, one attorney I have to mention, of course, who we named this program after, and the founding attorney, Michael Hardy. Michael Hardy, we always have to pay honor and tribute to him. One of the leading civil rights attorneys in this country. And I know I speak for all the attorneys that have ever done work here at the National Action Network by saying that we are all better attorneys, having known and worked along with Mike Hardy. Just his guidance and his tutelage and blessings for putting together this program. He was somebody who will be greatly missed, and somebody who we had this program named after, certainly our founding attorney. Okay, that being said, as I mentioned before, none of the attorneys are employees of the National Action Network, and I say that for the reason that the mere fact that you are here, asking questions, taking part in this forum, does not establish what we call the attorney-client relationship. There are a lot of relationships that exist that are very important, where there's confidentiality, and there are certain things that are built up. Your doctor, physician, patient, attorney-client, husband, wife, or now spouse, the priest-penitent relationship. But the mere fact that you're here, we don't have that relationship established. Now, if you meet an attorney and thereafter establish and retain the attorney, that's a different story. But we just want everyone to know that about that when we start this. So tonight we're going to have a program. Wiley Stecklow will lead it in terms of speaking about some of the things in the justice system. And, you know, when someone is arrested and when someone is incarcerated, it affects not only the individual, but the family as well. Wiley has brought two guest speakers. He will introduce Kerry Moles and Gamal Willis and their organizations and what they do to make things easier for you or for someone whose loved one has been in the system. Wiley is a friend of mine for many years, a fellow colleague, a fellow founding attorney here of Legal Night for many years. And he'll tell you a little about himself, what he does, and about the topic. And Wiley, thank you, and take it away.
Good evening, Harlem. Come on. Good evening, Harlem. There we go. It's such a privilege to be here at the House of Justice, and it's an honor to be here with all of you folks tonight. I also want to give shout outs to all the staff that are here. I love when I get to see Winston. I love when I get to see Ashley around. I love to see Christina helping out. I want to thank you for all the help you give us when we come out here tonight, and for everybody who helps make this happen. And I also want to give honor and homage to our co-founder, Brother Michael Hardy, who's not with us tonight, obviously, and who we miss each and every day. And in his honor, every time I get the mic here, I feel like I have to explain that we're here because we want to help, and we do our best to help. If you're not happy at all with what we have to say, please call and ask to speak to Arthur Robinson. He's the one in charge. Thank you. So before we get into my program, there's a couple what I'd call housekeeping matters. As Joel said, we've been doing this for more than 10 years. And even in the rain, you guys come out, and you come out to ask questions to lawyers. You come out because you have things you need to find out. And I want to give a shout out to some people who came here over a year ago, like you, came, sat down, sat through the program, raised their hand, asked a question, wanted to speak to a lawyer after the program. They got me. They spoke to me. And here we are, a little bit more than 12 months afterwards, because a mom had a problem for the son. The son had a problem. The mom said, I know what to do. The mom said, I'm going to take you to the House of Justice, and we're going to find justice there. So I want to introduce everybody to Tammy and Jalen Appling. Have them stand up and take a bow. They came here to the House of Justice, and they found justice. And I want to thank them for trusting me, for trusting Reverend Sharpton, the National Action Network, and for coming tonight just to let everybody see this is what justice looks like. This is what success looks like when you come out to the National Action Network's Michael Hardy Legal Rights Night. Before we get on with the program, I want to thank my two guest speakers. I have Gamal Willis and Carrie Moles. Two individuals, again, they're not being paid to be here. I've called and I asked them for favors because they work for amazing programs within the justice system. And I want all of you to understand that they exist so that you know when a father or a daughter or a son or a mother or an uncle or a cousin or a friend gets into trouble, you'll know, well, hey, have you spoken to people at CASA? Have you spoken to people at Avenues for Justice? They can help. So they're going to get up here in a minute and help understand what's going on, help share some information. But before we do that, I want to bring up my friend, my colleague, Pete Gleason. Pete was also supposed to speak tonight, but we realized once we had the speakers, there wouldn't be enough time for us both to do presentations. So he's going to now speak next year about his topic, but right now he's going to come up and say hi, and I really appreciate his earnestness in working with us to make sure this program can work tonight. Pete?
Thank you, Wiley. Good evening, Harlem. As Wiley had said, I was supposed to speak tonight as well, but Wiley is talking about building bridges, and I was going to give a speech on burning bridges down in an to effectuate justice. So I hope you all come back during next year's cycle, and I'll give my presentation there. But I defer to Wiley because it is far better to build a bridge than to burn one down. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Pete. So as you know, I am a civil rights lawyer. I've been coming to the House of Justice for more than 12 years, and it's been my absolute privilege to do this. I come here because I want to help people find their justice, just like we help the Applings find their justice. And so tonight, what I've done is I've brought two people in. I get 1 month a year where I get to make a presentation. And I try and make different presentations year after year. And so for this presentation, I wanted to bring resources to the community. I wanted to share knowledge. These are agencies, these are organizations that I learned about, and I understand the amazing work that they do. So we have two people that we're going to hear from tonight. First, I'm going to introduce Gamal Willis. Gamal is the Chief Programs Officer for Avenues for Justice, and they seek to divert and reclaim young people from lives of crime, provide an overloaded court system with a reliable alternative to the incarceration, and make New York City a safe place for everyone. It's really an amazing organization. Please welcome him.
Good evening, everyone. First, I would like to thank you all for inviting me for Avenues for Justice to be a part of an important evening. And thank the organizers of the Michael A. Hardy Legal Rights Night for continuing the powerful tradition of advocacy and education here in Harlem. For over 12 years, this gathering has created space for dialogue, empowerment, and connection between the communities and the legal world. And it's an honor to be close to this and to be here this evening. So thank you for the organizers and you. My name is Gamal Willis. I'm the Chief Program Officer of Avenues for Justice, an organization that has been in existence for over 45 years. And what we do is we keep young people out of court. And we try to do this. This is the thing as far as with those in the criminal justice system, to have them towards a path of education, employment, and stability. AFJ, that we affectionately call it, was founded in the Lower East Side by two gentlemen, Angel Rodriguez and Robert Siegel. And their mission was a simple but bold thing: to challenge the idea that incarceration was the only answer for young people who made mistakes. They believe, and we believe today, that with the right support, guidance, and opportunity, every young person has the power to rewrite their story. Our participants range from 13 to 24, and they come from facing real challenges, from lack of resources, housing instability, systematic inequalities, and lack of access with education. What makes Avenues for Justice unique is that we don't stop just at court advocacy. Rather, once a participant joins our program, they're part of our community. And we offer wraparound services, not just court advocacy, making a young person a person, not a number in court. But also, we encourage job readiness, educational support, and mental health and well-being. These are the foundations or pillar of our organization. We often said that when we meet a young person, we try to find out where they're at. What do we mean by that? Well, whether it's in the courtroom, in their home, or at our centers, the goal is not only to prevent incarceration, but to replace it with purpose, mentorship, and opportunity. Now, I've been talking a little bit. Does it work? Well, over 90% of the young people that come through our program, yes, come through our doors, do not go back into the criminal justice system. What's the alternative that they have? Well, going to college, trade school, full-time employment. That's what we try to mentor. And we don't just work with the young person, but where do they spend most of their time? At home. We work with the families, which help the communities. And several have returned back to AFJ after many years as staff, mentors, and community leaders. Proof that second chances can spark generational change. As we look ahead, AFJ is expanding not only just across Harlem, but we're in all 5 boroughs. We have deepened our partnership with local schools, community centers, and legal organizations because we know that no single group can end the cycle of incarceration alone. But rather, as we know, it takes a village, advocates, attorneys, educators, as well as community members alike. So tonight, as we reflect on the purpose of the Legal Rights Night, Empower, Access, and Justice, I invite each and every one of you to think about how we can continue to bridge the gap between the legal system and the community. At Avenues for Justice, we see every young person as more than just a case number. They are someone's son, daughter, neighbor, our future. Thank you for allowing me to share the work that we are doing and for being a part of this ongoing movement to build a safer and stronger and more equitable communities within New York City. If you'd like to connect, collaborate, or refer a young person, please come speak to me after, and we see what we can do. But once again, it was an honor, and thank you.
Kamal, thank you so much for joining us tonight and for bringing information about the Avenues for Justice to Harlem. Let's give him another round of applause. What do you say? Before I introduce my next guest, I first want to acknowledge that we have a very special person who's walked in. I want everyone to know Dr. Robin Brown Hardy. Robin has been with us since the beginning of this Legal Rights Night, has been here every step of the way. And to have, my brother, my colleague, my mentor's love of his life to come and to hang out and to be here, it really is very special. So Robin, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for being here. Now I'm nervous. My next guest is also a dear friend of mine. It's always amazing and very special when somebody you know socially, somebody you hang out with because you're connected through friends, all of a sudden you realize there's some commonality there. There's something that you share. And that's how Carrie Moles and I have gotten to know each other. She was somebody who was just in a circle of friends. And then the more time we spent together, the more we realized that our work is connected. I'm a lawyer, she's not a lawyer, but we both work in the justice system. And so I've been waiting for the right moment. I've been hoping to get her to come up to the National Action Network, to the Michael Hardy Legal Rights Night, in order to share some knowledge with everybody. She is the Chief Executive Officer of CASA NYC. Right? CASA NYC advocates to ensure that families involved in the child welfare system are treated fairly and equitably at every stage of the process, that they have their rights protected and they receive the services and support to which they are entitled. So this is information that people should know when they hear that a friend, family, somebody is somehow involved in the child welfare system. They should be thinking, is this somebody who needs to know about CASA NYC? I remember hearing from Kerry Moles at the House of Justice, and I want to make sure this person gets the entitlements that they deserve, that are out there for them, those benefits. So Kerry, please come on up and let's hear about it.
Good evening, everybody. It's an honor to be here tonight at the House of Justice, and thank you to the organizers and to my friend Wiley for inviting me. And I am here to talk a little bit tonight about involvement in what is called the child welfare system, otherwise sometimes referred to as the family regulation system, or involvement with ACS. I assume everybody here knows what ACS is. So I'm going to talk a little bit about CASA. And then I'm going to really talk mostly about what to do if you or somebody you know gets involved with ACS and there's an ACS investigation. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. We are appointed by family court judges when a judge is concerned that a child who is in foster care, at high risk of foster care placement, or aging out of the foster care system is not getting their needs met by the system. And that is very common. So what we do at CASA is we recruit and train community members, volunteers, to serve as advocates for these children who are involved in the system. So if anybody here is interested in that, let me know. I'm going to leave you my information at the end. But so really we get involved in a case only when a judge is concerned that the system's failing a child. And for purposes of tonight's discussion, the most important thing to know is that we support parents and family members who are trying to navigate the system, who want to keep their kids out of foster care, who want to get them out of foster care, and young people who are aging out of the system to establish themselves safely. Foster care is not a good place for anyone. And Gamal, I was really happy to hear you speak, and not so fun fact, because there's a lot of overlap between our work. About 50% of kids in foster care are arrested by the age of 17. 70% of foster youth are arrested by the age of 26. And 80% or 81% of males who are formerly in foster care are incarcerated by the age of 26. So that's what we call the foster care to prison pipeline. There are a lot of reasons for that, partly because of a lot of trauma that people experience while they're involved in the system. So real quick system overview. I'm going to talk more tonight about what to do at the front end of the system if there is an investigation by ACS. There are about 45,000 investigations by ACS of children and youth in New York City. They're disproportionately Black and brown, almost exclusively low-income people. Kids enter foster care because of allegations of abuse or neglect. But what most people don't know is physical abuse or sexual abuse is a very small percentage of those cases. The vast majority of the time, the allegations are neglect, which are very closely tied, almost all the time, to poverty, things like not being able to put enough food on the table or not being able to hire a babysitter and having to make difficult decisions about, my kid's home from school sick and I got to go to work and I'm either going to leave my kid home alone or I'm going to lose my job. So what am I going to do? Bad choices, right? That people no good choices, no good options that people have. So there are things like educational neglect. If you can't get your kids to school, medical neglect, you're not taking them to the right doctor's appointment, domestic violence, substance abuse, mental illness, all of which often have to do with underlying family trauma. So our goal is to help people who are at risk or involved in the child welfare system stabilize their families. We know that most of the time kids, and the vast majority of the time, kids do better when they're at home with their families, and their families just need a little bit more support. So that's what we provide at CASA. There's some handouts in the back if you didn't get it. So this is the main thing that I'm going to refer to tonight. And there's also a little map of what happens when you get involved in the child welfare system or the child protective case. But as I mentioned, when ACS receives a referral from the state central registry, that's the hotline, they are required by law to make an investigation. That investigation, they have 60 days to complete that investigation. They will probably come to your home, knock on your door. If you don't answer the door, they're going to leave a letter. A few important things that I want to highlight that people should know is, first of all, you always have the right to talk to an attorney. And it's in your best interest to do that, get legal counsel before you talk to ACS. This handout has some resources for you, but up here in Harlem, it's the Neighborhood Defenders. They will talk to you for free. They will not charge you. They will advise you. If you do get a case, if the case is filed in court, you will be appointed an attorney if you can't afford one. So if ACS comes knocking at your door, you are not required to talk to the ACS representative. They do not read you your rights, although they are now supposed to be doing some of that. You know, the way when you get arrested, you get read your rights. ACS doesn't always do that. So it's important for us to know and spread the word in the community what your rights are. You do not have to open the door. You can let them know, and I advise that you let them know politely you would like to speak to your attorney before you answer their questions. You have the right to know what the allegation is against you or your family member. You are advised to get the name of the person who's coming to you, of the investigator, write down their supervisor's name. The only time you are required to let them in the door is if they show you a court order. And most of the time they don't have a court order. Now, if you say, I'm not going to let you in the door, they can go get a court order the next day. Sometimes what people do is sort of assess the situation and say, okay, I'm going to bring my kids to the door so you can see them and see that they're safe, right? So it kind of lowers the volume a little bit on that. And I am willing to bring my kids to an ACS office in the next couple of days, but I'm going to talk to my attorney first, okay? Court order must be signed by a judge, yes. And they might, if you don't let them in the house, the other thing they might do, or they'll do this anyway, is go to the school the next day. So you should be aware of that. They might go to the child's school, they might talk to the children, they might talk to the teachers. So first thing you're gonna do is buy yourself a little bit of time so you can speak with your attorney. Find an attorney to speak with, call Neighborhood Defenders. You do not, just a few other things that you should know. You have the right to an interpreter if the investigator does not speak your primary language. You do not have to tell the investigator your immigration status. You do not have to share personal information about your medical history, your personal relationships, and you are not required to sign anything that ACS gives you. If they determine after this 60-day investigation that the allegations are unfounded or unsubstantiated is what they call it, it means that there is not credible evidence of abuse or neglect. And about 75% of the time, that's the case. Most cases are unfounded. So most of the time, the case isn't going to go any further than that, and the case is not going to get filed. But the process of being investigated is extremely stressful, and it can be traumatic. So that's why it's really important to get legal advice and get your support system in place. If they determine that the allegations are what's called indicated or substantiated, it means that they believe that there's evidence of abuse or neglect, but it doesn't mean that a judge has found there is abuse or neglect. So what happens then is that they may or may not file a case in court. If the case goes to court, and that's only 8% of the time, then a judge you'll go through a hearing, and you might go through a trial and determine whether there's an allegation of abuse or neglect. And again, if you do go to court, you always have the right to speak with or to be represented by an attorney. What's here is a really convoluted, path of the child welfare system, so that might help you to get a visual of that. But the last thing that I want to say is that if you do wind up in court and there is an allegation of abuse and you are threatened with the potential removal of your children, you can call CASA. So what we will do, we have to be appointed by the judge, but you can ask your attorney to have you appointed to CASA's case. And we will provide you with a one-on-one volunteer, a person that we have trained who knows how to advocate for your rights, and they will be a support system, and they will provide you with resources, and they will be an advocate, and they will work hand in hand with your attorney to make sure that your rights are being protected and that your family is ideally kept safe and together. So that is all the time I have, but I will be sticking around and happy to answer questions. And this handout has my number and our email and our contact information, so feel free to reach out if you have questions or we can support you in any way. Thanks again for listening.
Let's go. Let's have another round of hand for both our presenters. Thank you, guys. Hopefully that's information that is helpful, if not today, in the future, and that it's something that will stay with you. As they both said, you can contact the organizations. They're going to leave their contact information, and I really hope it does provide help. That's what we're here for at the House of Justice, to provide help. Right? I believe that's correct. So thank you so much. I want to thank both of them. I want to thank all of you for being here. And I want to thank Joel Schmelkin for all his amazing help in making sure that this boat is steadied. That once Michael was gone, that the night got named in his honor, and that we honor him by continuing what he started, continuing his efforts. And I thank Joel for helping make that happen. And ladies and gentlemen, Joel Schmelkin.
Thank you, Wiley, and thank you again, Kerry and Gamal, for great presentations. Okay, so we're going to now move to the second part of our program, and this is your part. Let us know what's on your mind. You want to make a statement? Great. You have some questions? Fine. We want to hear from you. But one thing I want to tell you is this. You may be involved in litigation right now. If you want to ask questions, don't talk about any personal information. You don't have to give names. You don't have to give specific information. And certainly, if there's any issues, don't confess to anything, as they said. You've got the right to remain silent, right? We've all watched those great police TV shows in the late 60s and early 70s, right? That's how I learned my criminal procedure, not in law school. I learned from Dragnet and Joe Friday on TV, okay? Just the facts. So the point is, if you have questions, that you don't confess to anything, you can ask it the general question. And we're going to have another time when you can speak to the attorneys, one-on-one. And you can get guidance at that particular point. Okay, so anybody have any questions first about any of the presentations tonight? Anything that was discussed tonight first, and then we'll talk about general questions.
Come over here.
You can come on up.
Right, I hold the mic though. It's fine. This is in reference to CASA.
Okay.
I understand that you share this information here, but how do we get you to other locations or share more of your program for some in the Bronx that may not have this platform where you can share this information and be more helpful to and educational information to those that may be in need? Because again, it is a high rise of these types of situations that are happening. And when we don't know how to handle them, the first thing we do is become scared. We run, we hide. Trying to keep our families together, we behave, I want to say hostile to a degree. So how do we bring this awareness, spread it more so that more of us are educated and involved with CASA?
Well, thank you so much for the question. It's a really good question. Because CASA, as I mentioned, really, we function in all, first of all, in all the family courts. So we have staff based in the family courts of all 5 boroughs. But primarily, that's where we work. And I'm so happy to be out here in the community tonight and to be able to speak with people. But we don't get a lot of opportunities like this to kind of go to the community and let people know what the resources are. So I am very open to doing that. If you have ideas, if you have suggestions, if you have people you want to introduce me to, please take my information and I would be happy to spread the information and get it out there.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Okay, thank you very much, Kerry. Okay, anybody else? What's on your mind? Let's talk. Anyone?
You can line up here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you have a question right there.
Hi. Hi, I'd like to know, how do young people get referred to Avenues for Justice? Are they referred through their court cases? Or is it like, if I have a young person that I would like to refer, is that possible?
Absolutely. In fact, we also work with those who are at risk that don't even have mandates. And so it could be referred through a parent, through a school. We take referrals from all over. So I'm going to pass my information. You can email me and then we'll send you the link that you can actually make the referral.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kamal. Okay, if anyone has personal questions, or if you have more questions for our speakers, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean,
I hold it.
okay. Hi, my name is Daniel Melendez. I'm a founder of a nonprofit organization, the Lafayette Unity Alliance. One of the questions that I have is, as a person who's just starting a nonprofit and they're trying to, spread their wings and be able to connect with really powerful groups like yourselves, how can I myself, relate to you guys and form a coalition possibly? And what resources do you think you guys can be able to provide for a nonprofit who's seeking justice in themselves to advocate for the community as a greater for a need that a community desperately needs?
That's a great question. And what I would like you to do is you're going to call the office tomorrow. You're going to speak to the crisis department, because here at the National Action Network, there are loads of different committees where you can volunteer and you can bring on your suggestions, and you have a great organization over here that can give you guidance. I'd like you to call tomorrow. You have the phone number, right? You'll speak to someone in crisis. And at that point, that would be a great thing. Are you a member here?
No, but I'm looking to be a prospective member.
Great.
I've been a fan of you guys for a very long time.
Okay, that's a good idea. Great. That's right. You'll speak also regarding that as well. Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Daniel?
Yes.
Now, Daniel, let me say, Michael Ross, and Daniel, I was at a meeting on last Tuesday. As you know, I do the presentation on housing and landlord tenant matters.
Yes.
So I invited Daniel and the group from Lafayette Estates up in the Bronx to come and join us at this meeting. While housing wasn't on the agenda,
Yes.
we're facing a real challenge up there, and they retained myself along with some other lawyers to address the issue of what they call affordable housing. We
Yes.
talked about building bridges and tearing bridges down. I think one of the things when we do build bridges, we have to think about how we're going to build a bridge
Yes.
and what that bridge is going to look like at the end of the day. In the case of Lafayette Estates, we're talking about 2 20-story high rises. That's going to impact this community with an additional 1,000 folks, that families. We talk about infrastructure impacts. Daniel, I believe this nonprofit that he's speaking about was formed to give power to this issue of housing and how it impacts the community, in particular,
Yeah.
how it impacts the folks that are there and the particular people that's going to come.
Yes.
And so we want to put that on the radar. We're talking about 2 20-story housing units, taking away the green space, impacting the schools, impacting all of that.
Yes.
And, we here at the House of Justice is all about justice, and, it starts at home.
Yeah.
And the nonprofit that Daniel's dealing with impacts home. So if you can't just speak just a few seconds, if you will, to
Yeah.
share us with information about that project.
Yes, absolutely. Would you like me to go up to the front? Okay, great. So, yes, hello, everybody. Like I said, my name is, huh? Yeah, have a little speech. Hello, everybody. Okay, my name is Daniel Melendez. I am the founder and the director of the Lafayette Unity Alliance. To all my esteemed colleagues who are right there sitting with me, you know, we call them the A team. Okay, just clap for the A team. And to esteemed guests, the Lafayette Unity Alliance is a grassroots nonprofit that's dedicated to the housing justice in the Bronx. While many fight evictions, our unique mission is focused on co-op democracy. Because we understand that there is a crisis afoot where we have systemic corporate developers utilizing the laws to be able to exploit working class New Yorkers under the guise of affordable housing. So we want to truly empower working class tenants, seniors, and low-income shareholders to protect their housing equity by decoding the complex corporate bylaws and proprietary leases that control their buildings. We want to arm them with the specialized knowledge to challenge developer dominance and corporate greed. This isn't just theory, it's an active fight. Right now, we are leading the legal challenge against major development in the Soundview area right now, where a majority corporate sponsor is illegally manipulating our co-op governance to strip the residents who live there of not only their dignity, but their environmental protections, and to sell it off to our protected green space for profit. Our housing struggle is fundamentally a civil rights struggle. It's about preserving public health, preventing displacement, and holding those in fiduciary power accountable. We are here tonight to network with the National Action Network's legal team seeking counsel and partnership to help amplify this systemic governance crisis and ensure that the laws that we hold dear protects vulnerable New Yorkers, not just the powerful corporate interests, but also everyday hardworking tax-paying individuals who also need their rights respected, and to level that playing field right here, right now. That's what we stand here for. That's what I represent. And I look forward to connecting with all of you and the esteemed colleagues back here so we can further send that message and make it reverberate throughout all the 5 boroughs. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Yes.
Okay, thanks again, Daniel. All right.
In the next
You have a question?
round, it's a statement. In the next round, I'd like to have a conversation with Attorney Michael Ross
On a housing issue,
on the
right?
housing issue.
Right, okay,
Okay?
sure.
Personal matter. Thank you.
Absolutely, sure. All right, we have online Natasha. Natasha, do you want to speak a bit, and maybe we can help you?
Hi, yes, good evening. Thanks for taking my questions. I live in a HDFC building and we're all shareholders. But we had a board for the past 2 years who haven't given us any building financing, so we don't know what's happening with our.
Natasha, 1 minute.
Okay.
Try it again. Oh, sorry.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Hi, thank you guys for taking my questions. I live in a HDFC building in the Bronx and we're all shareholders here. But the question that I have is that for the past 2 years, the current board hasn't given us any building finances, so we don't know where our maintenance is going. We've asked and they've been very hostile. We got signatures to change the board, but they are illegally holding their positions and they are not wanting to let go at all. So I would like to know what steps can we take so so we can get them out, because they're also leaving trash at my door. I don't know. No. creo que no.
So if you heard our last speaker, if you heard our last speaker, you're right on target. So I'm gonna have them put my number in the chat. So you can
Okay.
give me a call tomorrow and I will connect you with this movement that we're doing to address just that specific issue. All right?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sorry?
Thank you so
Which
much.
HDFC?
It's I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but it's a building in the Bronx, an apartment building. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear. I still can't hear.
So what building, what building is it?
It's in the Bronx, is 902 Eagle Avenue in the Bronx.
Okay, all right. So get my number out of the chat.
Okay.
Give me a call tomorrow and we will
All right.
connect you.
All right,
with
thank you
the
so
movement
much.
that's happening in the Bronx to address those issues.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, Isa. Isa, you want to introduce yourself and maybe we can help you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Yes.
Hello? Hello? I I can't hear you at the moment.
Yo, Chris, unmute so that he can say yes.
You there, Isa? Okay. Melina, you out there?
Hello? Hello? I can't hear you. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Winston. Winston.
Are you on me?
Melina?
Yeah, Melanie, that's me. Can you hear me? Because I can't tell if you're hearing me or if you're talking to me. I think you're talking to me.
Yes, we're talking to Melina.
Okay.
Just let us know what we can do for you.
All right. So, Surrogate Fund Management withheld maybe $25,000 of my money after violating my civil rights, having me medically induced, having me held in a hospital, until I was induced or otherwise, and threatened me with going to jail and all this other stuff. And then after 4 years of them holding on to this money with no reason, I sent them a 10-day demand letter demanding, the release of my funds, or for them to tell me what it is or what is the reason for why they can't give me the money. And the day that I sent them the 10-day demand letter, they drafted paperwork and sent it to a court to put in an interpleader. But I don't want to do an interpleader because I want to be able to charge them for the civil rights violations and other violations that they brought upon me, including forced labor. I can't hear you.
information, contact information for Michael Ross. And please give him a call tomorrow. And at
Hold on
least
one
at
second,
least
because
steer
I
you in the
didn't
right
hear all
direction.
of that. Half of that was like muted out. I didn't hear all of it. I just heard Michael and then,
And you will take the telephone number of Michael Ross. His telephone number is in the chat. And please give him a call tomorrow. And he can put you in the right direction.
okay, thank you. And how do
All
I
right.
find that number in the chat? Hold on one second. You said his number is in, I got it. Thank you.
You got it? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else over here have any issues? Come on up.
I hold the mic. I hold the mic. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Anitha White. And what I've seen or heard, we have a lot of environmental issues here tonight. And I am one of those environmental issues. But I thank God that I have Attorney Ross that is working with me. And I'm not gonna say much. I'm grateful. And there is a line. And I thank y'all. Bye.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Toya Dorsey. I'm here because somebody had stole my home and stole billions of dollars from me. And the way he did it was acting false pretenses of power of attorney. I never knew. So what I'm trying to fight, because it was left to me from my father, I never knew. And I saw my house now, but they was hiding my house. They put me through a lot. So I'm trying to find out, how can I get this power of attorney canceled? But I got a paper called power of attorney revoke.
I think you can speak to any of the attorneys during the break and we can sit down and talk to you.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Okay.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I have, I guess I consider a family court issue. I always believe that the family court should always protect the rights of either party. And as a result, they illegally passed laws against me. And those laws took everything away from me. I mean, I was a proud investor in real estate. I lost my home behind it. The total picture is I was driven to a state of poverty. All because they said that they sent me information to come to court, and I never received it.
This was family court, you said?
Yes.
Okay. One of the attorneys on our panel does a lot of family court work. He's not here tonight, but during the break, come up to me and I'm going to give you his name and number.
Okay.
Okay? And then you'll speak with him. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. How y'all doing?
Good evening.
Okay, so this is a family court and a criminal court issue. So my son is 12 and I've been fighting false allegations from his mother for the past about 10 years. So every year I have to go to with ACS and the criminal court, and these are things that, like, I know my rights are being violated, but I'm not sure how to go about it, like how to stop, what's going on. And it's like every year, every other year, I have to fight, So the latest one is, she calls my son and say I abused him. So that's the latest one right now. So I'm not sure how to go about that situation.
Family
It's
court, you
family
think?
court, yeah.
All right, maybe during the break, you can
But-
speak to one of us. We
Okay.
can figure something out.
All right, thank you.
Okay? Good evening.
Can barely speak. Excuse me, I'm a little hoarse. My son Jalen and I, my family just want to say thank you, Mr. Seklo, for everything you've done for us. You're a good man and an awesome attorney. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate it, bro. Well, thank you. Thank you, Wiley.
How you doing, young fella? Good evening.
Good evening.
This one I'm gonna start at. I'm gonna make a long story short. I'm straight out of New Jersey, Jersey City to be exact. And what happens is, you know, I did a lot of things, fine things, good deeds, bad deeds. Another story though. I don't want to put that out there. Now I came to New York. I'm gonna just say about like 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And like turn my life around. I don't want to advertise
No, of course not.
past tense because that person I was, I'm different now. That's why I'm
I
only speaking.
understand. All right.
So with that being said, you know, I'm 53 years old and see, it's like I've been over here for the last 4 years being homeless. When I say being homeless, you know, being in the shelter. And I've been in the shelter for like 4 years now. And it's like the results that I was looking for, I'm not getting them.
In
And it's
Jersey
like-
City?
No, in New York.
Oh, in New York.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
been over here for the last 4 years. Let's get that right for the records. Yeah, so it's like I'm not getting ahead for whatever purpose. I don't know, like, you know, I go down welfare. You know what I learned in life? You got a lot of people that got positions, but they don't know their positions. You got people that got positions that don't have the experience to go with the position. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So it's like, okay, let's just say you've been in a chair. No disrespect. I'm just speaking hypothetically.
Absolutely.
You've probably been doing your thing for 20 years, but your daughter might only have 2 years of experience, but she don't have the experience that you have. Because you're a leader. That don't make that she's a leader. It got to be embedded into you. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, like I've been over here fighting for a voucher for 4 years, still living in the shelter. Like where they do that at? And I go down welfare, and it's like you got people like my color or other colors. I'm not biased. I'm not racist, but they don't know what they're doing. I said, where they do that at? So it's like they don't want to do their job. Let me get your job. I need more money.
Okay.
And I'm a city worker, working for sanitation, a taxpayer at that.
Good.
So this where my money going at? So like, not to be nonchalant or whatever, like, when people gonna step their game up? Because see, at the end of the day, I go talk to politicians, no disrespect. Only time I see y'all when it's time to run. Where you at, where you ain't running? About them people on the corner that's still shooting and everything. I don't need to see y'all when that happens. I need to see you every day. If you're gonna
Okay.
smile in my face, smile every day.
You're right.
That's where I'm at with this.
All right. Well, thank you very much for bringing
Yes.
this to our attention. No, I
Yes.
agree with
Yes.
you.
I mean, like,
I
mean,
agree
like,
with you.
everybody's, y'all can only do but so much.
That's all.
I'm not here trying to pull on your pocket like, yo, do this today, do this tomorrow. Everything takes time.
That's true.
That's why the word is called patience. Patience is virtue.
Okay.
I mean, I got to keep it real with you. If I got to sit up here and lie to you, I don't need to be talking to you right now. I mean, at the end of the day, you might need a person like me to change the streets. Or so-called change the streets, because the streets ain't gonna never change.
Okay.
I'm gonna just be real with you.
All right.
I done been a lot of places from the East Coast to the West Coast.
All right.
I done heard it from the best still. A story real quick.
All right. Well, thank you for your words of wisdom.
Good evening. My
Hey.
name is Eleanor George. I'm a retired elementary school teacher, author, and advocate, and I'm on the board of Lafayette Unity Alliance. We represent shareholders and tenants of 900 units in the Bronx. And my question is very similar to this gentleman that just spoke. We have been fighting for over 3 months, and we have not been able to get any elected officials to support our cause. We have been fighting in the Middle Bronx, as I call it, in between the South and the North Bronx. We've gone to community school boards. We've gone to our elected officials' offices. We've emailed. We've sent pictures. We've made phone calls. And we have not gotten any help. Is there anything that NAN can do to help us in our fight just to be heard, to be put on the radar, put on the agenda? We need help with community mobilization. We need help with press releases. We need help with media attention. We need help because we are fighting against $200 million. And this is a David and Goliath fight.
I agree.
But we know how that turned out.
Sure. What I want you to do is to call the office tomorrow, and you're going to speak to Mr. Matthews. You're going to speak to someone in crisis, and they're going to lead you in the right direction.
Okay. And I want to thank each and every one of you for pro bono work because
Well,
that's the heart and soul of the community. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for coming by. Okay, do we have anybody else? Anything on your mind? Sure, come on up. Go ahead, talk. Go ahead.
I hear, you have programs there. What about the seniors? What is out here for us? Because, sometimes I think we feel so disrespected, by the city, what's out, what opportunities or what programs are out here for us?
Why don't you do this? You're going to call the office tomorrow. You're going to speak to Mr. Matthews in the office, and there are committees over here that have benefits and can talk to you about the seniors and, put you in the right direction. Just share some information with you. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So if we don't have anybody else have any questions on your mind, let me do this. This is the end of our 15th year here at the Legal Night National Action Network. We started this in 2011, and this is the end of the 15th year. 15. End of the 15th, starting with 2011. It was a time when Wiley, myself, Mike Hardy, and a couple of others sat down and thought that this was something to do for the community. And it was really Mike Hardy being the architect of this, and we owe him such a great gratitude, really, for this. But we also owe gratitude and thanks to you, because without the community, without you telling your friends and coming here, we really couldn't do Legal Night. So we have another Legal Night coming up. The next one is going to be January 29th, 2026. If you learned something here, raise your hand. Let me hear if anyone learned something. That's great. I used to have a teacher in high school who wouldn't let us leave unless we raised our hand and we learned something. But you can leave. But the point is that if you found it interesting, you'll come back and you'll let your friends know and you'll come back too. And there's something else that is on my mind that I want to share with you. I know if Mike was here, he would tell this to you as well. Next week, we have Election Day. And we want everybody to get out and vote. And I don't want anyone to say, well, my vote doesn't count. It does count. It counts a lot. And I will tell you a couple of other things too. If you take a look 60, 65 years ago, and I was a little kid, I really don't remember it too well. But I do remember growing up and being in the 60s in elementary school, the late 60s. And a couple of years beforehand, I remember watching TV newsreels 3-4 years later and seeing protesters get attacked by dogs, by fire hoses, all because they wanted the right to vote. And if you say to yourself, well, you know what? It's cold, it's rainy. I don't want to go out and ruin my suit, okay? Just think about what people did 60, 65 years to let you be able to vote. People gave their blood, sweat, tears, and their lives too. Many gave their life. So you think about that. No one has any excuse not to vote. So go out and vote, because that's important. Okay? That's my little words of wisdom, my parting advice, my civic information that I want to share with you. So that being said, we thank you again for all the time that you spent. Please, we hope to see you. And not only that, you don't have to feel as if you only have to come here on a Thursday night for legal night. The National Action Network, as Chris Matthew mentioned before, was, you have rallies. There are rallies every Saturday from 9 to 11. And if anybody's never been to a rally, I suggest that you come here. You'll hear Reverend Sharpton speak. The power that you're going to feel just being in this room, hearing him speak about civil rights is amazing. It gives you better than 10 cups of coffee, all that, gives you the jolt that you need. And you come over here, it's something worth really listening to. You don't have to be a member. You just have to have a commitment for justice to do the right thing. That's all you need. Come over here on a Saturday rally. Come over here if you have questions. And certainly we hope to see you on January 29th for the next year of Legal Night, which will be the start of number 16. And hope to see everybody then. Thanks again. Flip the valve. Okay. Yes. Okay. Flip the ballot, as Chris mentioned. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, you three first, and then we'll take our questions. Yeah. 1 second. One more. Everybody was here. Yeah, that's it. All right, thank you. Everything you dream of. Yes. Okay.